Welcome to the Retirement Evolved podcast with certified financial fiduciary Adam Bruno.
Boy, is it great to be back, and we are back. I am certified financial fiduciary Adam Bruno, and with me as always is the one, the only, the world's greatest administrator, Lauren Trolson.
Hello, everybody. Happy April.
Hey, you didn't say how you doing today. That's good.
I'm getting used to this.
That's good, yeah. I kind of feel like sometimes I want to say how you doing, just hypothetically out to the public, but
I'll answer you.
Okay, well, yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want the answer, but
Yeah.
Okay, so we normally start with this year in history, but Lauren, you have something even more interesting to share. So why don't you tell us about the currencies of the world, the history of the currencies of the world?
Absolutely. So, oldest currency in continuous use is the pound, UK's official unit of currency, which was introduced shortly after the founding of the Bank of England in 1694 and was originally handwritten notes. It's pretty cool.
You know, and it's really cool the way they say it. Oh, do you have a pound, a shilling? I like the way the British accent comes out when they
It always sounds so polite.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
Makes me sick. Okay, anyway.
Animals appearing most often on the currency are the panda, the elephant, kangaroo, bear, snake, tiger, bird, and antelope. Animals have appeared on coins since the beginning of currency. While images of felines are common, there does not appear to be any money in circulation featuring dogs.
Wow.
You know,
no money with man's best friend.
Thanks, James.
That's crazy. And the panda, it appears the most?
The panda.
And an antelope.
Yeah.
I don't even know what antelopes are good for. Like, why do we associate antelopes with money? It's not like we sell their horns or anything. Like, how does that? Okay. All right, but keep going. I'm liking this so far.
Oh, good. Number of currencies used around the world. There are 180 currencies recognized as legal tender in United Nations member states. Pretty cool. Obviously, men's images dominate banknotes. 85% men and 15% women. A study of 1,006 current international banknotes found that only 15% featured images of women.
Holy Moses. Yeah. Boy, we could open a whole other can of worms, which are not on currencies usually, right? Yeah. No worms on currencies.
No,
okay.
No worms.
Got
no
it.
worms.
But I'm bummed. Okay.
Wasn't on there. And then the most common categories featured on legal tender are monarchs, which make up about 30.4%. Heads of government and politicians make over 60% of figures depicted on currency. There's also writers and artists, military, religious figures, and then the other is 27.63%.
So just out of curiosity, if you could put one person on a currency, who would you have a picture of?
Ric Flair.
Woo!
Woo!
That's a good answer. I was going to go with Josh Allen, but yeah, that's a good answer. I like that. Okay. So, you know, there's a common trend here, though. There's a lot of currencies, but there's only one reserve currency, right? And the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency of the world. Not to segue, but you know, when you tune in to listen to us, you're going to get all things retirement, all sorts of stuff here. But the world reserve currency is the U.S. dollar, which of course gives us the ability to print anything that we want, right? So kind of dangerous when you think about it, though, because now our good friend in the White House is just so we are clear, that was a sarcastic statement. Our good friend in the White House, Mr. Biden, is talking about just eliminating the debt ceiling. So $31 trillion in debt, and we're just going to get rid of it and say, let's just go into more debt. And it's okay because we can print whatever we want, right? I mean, it's just a terrible world we live in sometimes.
Really. You know, speaking of Biden.
Oh, boy.
He issues his first veto on retirement investment resolution.
Oh, God. I think I read, but go ahead. I think I read some of this.
Some of the highlights in the article. President Joe Biden issued his first veto on his presidency on a resolution relating to retirement plans. Biden vetoed a resolution to overturn a retirement investment rule that allows retirement fund managers to consider the impact of climate change and other environmental, social, and governance factors when choosing investments.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. So this is such a sticking point right now with this whole socially responsible investing and all this stuff now. And, you know, BlackRock's gotten involved and that's kind of dragged them through the mud a little bit. This is getting to ridiculous levels and ridiculous lengths now. So this whole veto, I guess we know exactly what side of the line he stands on here. I mean, I know he can't even find his way around the White House, but he's clear on this issue.
He's
right?
clear,
I mean,
clear.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, the other thing about that is, while we're talking about it, both chambers of Congress with 2 Senate Democrats voting in favor along with Senate Republicans. So I guess we're starting to see some of the wheeling and dealing in the politics going on. It's unbelievable. It's so silly too. We wasted time on this. We wasted time, energy, and money that you and I are paying for, and all of our families are paying for. That's exactly absolutely it. So that we can do this. And an override of the veto, of course, is unlikely because it would require 2/3 majority in each chamber, and we all know who's controlling some of that. So it's a mess right now. So this whole idea of socially responsible investing and climate change and environmental, listen, I get it. I'm one of the first ones that says, if you got a plan on how we can eliminate smog, on how we can make the environment better, that's awesome. But nobody has a plan. You know, it's just they're talking about it and they're standing on their soapbox, and there's never a plan or a plan of action.
I was going to say, into action. There's no action. Classic
way that this country is run. Oh, well. So if you didn't know, we are here. We are Evolution Retirement Services and Evolution Wealth Management. Lauren and I are the lucky ones who draw the straws to be able to do our podcast with our families every week. I'm joking. It is something we really enjoy. Out of all of us, I think we're the ones that enjoy talking to people the most. So we get together and we talk about anything going on in the world right now that affects our families in retirement. I mean, it's that simple. And if you need more information, or if you want more information, it's very simple. You go to taxfreefortmyers.com, and you have to spell the whole thing out. And Fort Myers has to be spelled out FORTMYERS. Taxfreefortmyers.com. You'll see a lot of information there. All the podcasts will be there, so you can go back and listen to us make some fools of ourselves earlier on in the year. And you can also, all of my Kiplinger articles that I've done, there's 2 of them, and then the book that I completed. I still think that book was a team effort, Lauren. We talk about that all the time. It's just a case study of everything that we see here that you and other successful families go through, and it's just something that we're really proud of. So all of that's available to you, no cost. There's also ways for you to contact us, reach out to us, ask us questions. We have a little bit of time usually on the show where we go over some questions that we received. But other than that, just enjoy the rhetoric here, because we try to cover a lot of topics. Speaking of which, April is coming up, Lauren, right around the corner.
April is coming up.
April Fools, of course. And then also April is National Financial Literacy Month.
Ooh. Couple facts about the Financial Literacy Month. In the U.S., 1 out of every 5 students lacks basic skills of financial literacy. This is huge. I mean, how often do you use the Pythagorean theorem, but you don't get the teaching about taxes?
I'm sorry. Where do we get these numbers? 1 out of every 5 students? I'd say only 1 out of 5 students actually knows what financial literacy is.
I mean, who uses a checkbook anymore at that point?
Well, I've said this a million times. It's not just the checkbook. How about we teach these kids about credit and what credit means and how it works? How about we talk about how the monetary system works? I get it. Anybody can put somebody to sleep talking about interest rates and all that fun stuff. Just ask your brother Kurt or Dave. They put people to sleep all the time. But the reality is there is a way that you can connect with these kids on a level and educate them about things that are really going to matter. And yes, I get it. The Pythagorean theorem, did you say? Yeah, that matters. The whole thing. Is that the A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Is that what that is? Oh, anyway, I can't believe I remember that. But the reality is, this is just as important. We're creating citizens that go out into society, then they're not prepared. These kids are not prepared. They don't even learn about it in college. I mean, they're signing on the dotted line for all their loans, and they don't even know what an interest rate is. It's terrible. Anyway, sorry, go on. I'm off my soapbox now.
No, you're good. 29% of working women showed basic financial literacy skills compared to 40% of working men.
Wow.
Yeah, that's...
I don't get that one. I mean, women are generally smarter than men most of the time in their ability to. Men don't have the ability to compartmentalize. We have to jump from one thing to the other. Women can actually have 4 or 5 things going on at once in their head. That number just shocks the heck out of me. I would have assumed that women were going to be a lot more financially sound than men were. But I guess it's also part of the what age they are,
I was
right?
going to say, as times change, I think that women now are more financially independent.
Right.
And I think that they take it upon themselves to learn that information.
Right. Well, compared to our families, a lot of our families, they come from the baby boomer generation, right? So, they were doing the hard job then. They were doing the homemaker. They were doing everything. So, I guess I could see that maybe now that would lead the way to a little bit more financial independence. But okay, I guess I could get on board with that.
Sure. 54% of student loan holders didn't know about their future monthly payments before taking out their loans.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't even realize.
I mean, when I was, I graduated in 2011 with my bachelor's, and thank God my parents did the Florida prepay. But when I went back for my master's, I took loans out for that, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a clue.
I had scholarships and I still ended up like around $150,000. Oh yeah. And I didn't know. It's just like, take out another loan, just sign here. Here you go. And
absolutely.
It was just like a buffet line of paperwork. Here, you just have to sign here. And I didn't know what I was going to have to pay back. It's terrible.
Only 20% of adults have participated in financial education.
Not our families listening to this. They get a financial education every quarter when we have our quarterly events. That's one of the things we're most proud of. With the families that we serve, and Lauren and I say it all the time, we don't work with everybody. We just try to help 100% of the people that make contact with us. And yes, we identify families that we can work directly with, but we provide a very high level of service, right? Our families are used to their estate taxes or estate plans being done, taxes being done every year, investments, Medicare planning. All of that is done by us, with us. We're holding their hands through the whole thing. But one of the things that we do that's so important is every quarter we spend a lot of money making sure that we have people from all areas of the industry here to speak and talk about exactly what's going on. Now, I will say we are a little guilty of sometimes these people are not the easiest to listen to. So I have to kind of play moderator, right? Because they're going off on tangents. But most of the time, the information is very valuable. So
latest market updates, anything that's out there that, you want to know about. I mean,
it's important is what
really
it is. And we just don't do enough as a society to educate ourselves a little bit more on financial education. I agree with that number.
Last one here. Women save 68 cents against every dollar that men save for retirement. And, that goes, I think, towards
the salary,
on salary.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what women are making compared to men.
Well, men are making way more. So it's kind of like, of course it's going to be 68 cents compared to $1, which isn't right at all. I don't agree with it. I said it a couple podcasts ago, if you do a job, I don't care what you have in your pants. You're doing the job, you get paid the compensation for doing the job. Absolutely. That's important. And that's another thing about me too. And everybody knows that I'm a Republican and I lean a little bit more right and everything. But in my mind, you do what you want to do with your life. As long as it doesn't bring my life down and you come into my circle and it's kind of bringing me down, I don't care what you do with your life. Like this is the essence of who we are as a country. Whatever religion, whatever race, whatever gender, whatever it is, you should be able to do what you want to do. But when it starts crossing those lines right now, I mean, it's unbelievable. We talk about this horrible tragedy, this horrible shooting the other day, right, in Nashville. And I just can't say enough about this because I've been such an advocate of we need to do better. And better to me does not mean we need to have more and more gun regulation, because what is that going to do? Think about this. You have a transgender person, right? And it's like, we don't want to talk about this because we're afraid of what's going to happen. But the reality of the situation is that person clearly had a horrible experience at that Christian school when they were there. They had a bad experience personally, and unfortunately they decided that they were going to do whatever they could to bring that out of themselves. And this is what it led to, right? It's not because they were transgender. But the situation was obviously in that environment at that time, it wasn't something that we could have why can't everybody just leave everyone alone? Let them live their life the way they want to live it. And this is the result of that. It's not the gun, right? That person, when you're that hurt and when you're that angry, you're going to go out and you're going to do, I think Dave said a perfect example the other day, highly skilled military expert. He's been in the Marines forever. He could go out on a rampage with a bow and arrow and cause the same amount of damage, right? Yeah. So to me, it's like, we've got all these vets, right? We've got all these vets sitting at home sometimes, not knowing what to do with their lives. Why can't some of these vets guard our schools? Why can't we have more security. People make it sound like it's horrible that we have we're going to let people walk around the schools with guns. And yes, like if you're that worried about it and we need that much protection and those people need jobs, they need to be a part of something again. What's the problem here? I just don't understand why common sense goes out the window. So now you know what's going to happen. The right's going to attack this and say, well, it was a transgender person. This is what happens when. No, that's not what happened. This was one situation. This isolated incident, because all school shootings are inevitably isolated incidents for whatever reason. And I'll tell you the other thing. What I don't understand is we've got no regulation on all these crazy ass chat rooms that you're allowed to go on and publish your manifestos on about how you're going to kill everybody. And you even have people proofreading it for you, right? Like, that's okay. You're surrounding yourself in these chat rooms with people that are dreaming about doing the same thing, and you're actually somebody that does it. Like, of course, there's going to be somebody that's going to do it that's going to come out of those chat rooms, but we're not regulating the internet like we should, right? There's so much that goes into it. And I just get so mad that people lose lives and we just want to attack one thing about it. What about the whole picture? Why is this really happening?
You know, I just read the other day that Utah is the first state to, I think it's ban social media for kids under the age of 18.
I love that. Yeah. I really do love that. I'm not going to lie. Listen, I've got 2 little ones at home and I've got 2 older ones. If I could go back, as parents, we always say, you know, if we could go back and change something, I would definitely change my older kids' access to social media that they had. I mean, my daughter was bullied in school because of the way she dressed, the way she looked, how she, the people took videos of her. She would, you know, and it used to be a joke to her. Like, she called them the paparazzi, right? Because they're taking videos of her, and we would laugh because my daughter has a lot of confidence. Like, what I instill confidence in my children. Like, I try to be real with them, be honest with them. So, but there was a point where it just became too much then. And it was, you know, and I had to get involved and say, listen, why does my daughter have to go to school and worry about getting recorded and posted on Snapchat and Google this and Google that or whatever it is, right? So this idea of banning social media for kids if they're under the age of 18, love it. Why do they need it?
Love it.
Why do they need it?
Yeah, I agree.
Even better, why don't you have a social media platform with higher regulation for kids that are under 18, right? Why does it? I'm sorry. I agree 100% with my younger kids. They're not even going to have it. I'm going to find a flip phone. I'm going to go shop at an antique store and find a flip phone for them.
Bring back the flip.
Me? Flip, yeah, but bring back the Razor. Remember the Razor?
Yeah, I had one. I had one too.
I had like a gray one. I bet you had the pink one, didn't you? The pink Razor.
You think I had a pink Razor?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I had a blue one.
Blue. Okay. But bring back the Razor. You need to make a phone call, call me. That's it. Why do these kids need more? It's just leading to more and more trouble and drama.
Little say what for everybody.
Nice. I was afraid we didn't have say what. I love say what. Okay.
Courtney Cox, best known for her role as Monica Geller on Friends, says she regrets how she handled aging throughout her career in Hollywood. She said thinking she was getting older when she was still really young was a waste of time. And it's one of her biggest regrets. The 58-year-old actress says she's actually had some work on her face reversed so that she can age more naturally.
Oh, Courtney Cox had work done before that? I didn't know that.
You know, I think everything in moderation. I think a little preventative maintenance, as I call it, is okay. You know?
We talking Botox?
Yeah, I've got a little.
Look what Botox did to Burt Reynolds. He couldn't even move his face at the end of his life.
Look at my forehead.
It's not moving. Your eyebrows are moving, but your forehead isn't.
But look at this face.
Because it's flat? Like there's no wrinkles? Wrinkles add character.
And I'm Italian.
I'm Italian too.
Lines, you know?
And you know what it means to be Italian? It means to look like you're 70 at middle age for the rest of your life. That's what it means to be Italian.
Have you met my mother?
Yes, but your mother is a different story. That's a different story.
Well, you know, I'm hoping to age just like that.
Oh, that's true. Your mom does look really young.
Something a little bit more of a downer. Social Security Insolvency. Raised retirement age more likely as Congress fails to compromise.
Congress failing to compromise?
Weird.
Say what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Republicans and Democrats in Congress have so far failed to come to an agreement on a solution to address the pending insolvency of Social Security.
Yeah, didn't they say, so this was the idea that was originally floated, right? You raised the retirement age from 67 to 70. That was the last I heard of it. And then you're saying that didn't happen?
Yeah, no, it did not. So they raising the full retirement age, the FRA, is seen as one way to reduce the impact of Social Security's trust fund, which is expected to run out of money by the middle of the next decade. Once the funds run out, Social Security will rely solely on payroll taxes for its funding. Raising the FRA might convince more people to wait a few years before claiming benefits so that they can get a larger monthly payment.
You know, the deal is if we don't take in enough money, that you and I, our social security, well, me more than you even more.
I'm not that much younger.
You're younger. You're 10 years younger, aren't you?
I'm 6 years younger than you.
Oh, that's right. You're 34.
I will be 34.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
In May. I don't even know when my birthday is. In May.
And you look like you're 23 still.
That's right.
See, look at that.
That's right.
Sue's listening. She says there's hope for you yet.
Oh my gosh,
so anyway, the whole idea is, we have to replace the money. So my thought was I'm going to probably end up being like 80 before I can take Social Security because they're going to have to keep raising. I mean, that's the only thing they can do, though, because they refuse to take in more. Again, here's my whole political presidency run is everybody needs to pay more taxes. That's the reality. Like, I'm sorry if people don't want to hear it, but why can't everybody just pay 15, 20% across the board? We'll call it even. Everybody, billionaires.
You say this all. You say it all the time.
I'm sorry. I do say it all the time. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
But this is the reason, because this is going to continue to happen. We're not going to. Social Security is going to either get reduced or you're going to be 90 before you can take it. I mean, God help us all. I'm not a big. I never wanted to depend on Social Security. And you know what Bill used to say? Bill Seller used to say that he would just rather have them give him the money and he'll invest it, because that's the reality. I mean, we're paying for it, and some of us might never actually see it.
Crazy.
It's terrible.
It really is.
Are you really surprised though?
No.
Especially with the way this government.
I've been hearing that since I was in high school. Yeah, you're never getting Social Security. Forget about Social Security. And I mean, that was 15 years ago.
You know what? I can't wait to see you when you turn 40. Like,
it's going to be glorious.
You're going to be crying so hard. Like, I can't believe I'm 40 now.
It's going to be glorious.
Oh, Lord. I mean, it's just you're so worried about that. I'll tell you what. And you look great, too. It's too bad that we can't just. And here's why I say that, because I've looked like I'm 40 since I was in my 20s. So it's the real. Look at my forehead. See, it's.
Yeah, but men are more distinguished when they get like the gray and the wrinkles and stuff.
I have a lot of gray and a lot of wrinkles.
I have some gray. That's why I'm going blonde. It's easier to cover up.
You have gray.
100%.
If you have gray, I will eat this cell phone right here. There's no way you have any gray right now.
If I could get up from this chair and stay on this mic, I will show. I'm going to show you. And we're going to feature it. I'm going to walk up to this camera. We're taping.
We're on video right now.
We're taping this podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk up to it and I'm going to show you guys just to prove a point. And then we're going to watch Adam eat his cell phone.
I don't know if I could. I'm a little full. I had some chicken wings for lunch. Okay.
Anyways.
So back to this again one more time. We got to pause for some identification here. We have a really good time on this podcast, as you can tell. We spend about 30 minutes just chewing and talking it up. And the reality, though, is that you are out there and you're listening to this and you might need some help. And we're not going to charge you for that. This isn't an infomercial. If you need help, if you have questions that you want answered, email us at info@evolutionretirementservices.com or adam@evolutionretirementservices.com or Lauren, whatever you want to do, email us, reach out. Email is easier if you don't want to talk on the phone with us. You're not going to be trapped by us. We're not going to spam your inbox with all kinds of useless information or anything like that. But we are going to make sure that you get the help that you need, especially if you have questions, kind of like some of the questions that we got this week. One of the questions that came in had to do with CD rates. And I want to talk about that real quick. Right now, the shorter, the better. Like we're just getting flooded with these emails about, it's a 1 year, 3.8%. Is that good, Adam? Listen, anything that's shorter than 2 years right now, I think is everyone's best interest, because we don't know. We're in an inverted yield curve. And if you didn't study Finance 101, what it basically means is short-term investments are paying much better than longer-term investments. So let's just address the elephant in the room. The shorter, the better right now. All right. And that's the reality. Unless you're getting a really guaranteed high rate of return for 5 or 7 years or whatever it is, it's a different story. But the shorter, the better. And the fixed income world is coming back quite a bit right now, coming back stronger with the rates that we're seeing. Heck, I mean, our money market and TD Ameritrade right now is paying like 4%. So we are seeing opportunities out there where you don't have to sit on cash anymore. It's almost like we've been going through this hurricane, waiting. And now, the storm's finally over and we can peek our head out, and there is some hope there. I mean, we can probably find some shorter term investments. So that was one of the questions that we got. Another one of the questions that we got, ironically enough, is somebody who thought it was too good to be true. they sent us an email and they said, I'm going to ask the question, but I don't believe that you guys are just doing this out of the goodness of your heart. Well, the reality is nobody does anything out of the goodness of their heart, but we do have a passion for helping people. And yes, we do identify people that we work with once in a while. And this particular person asked how we got paid. And I think we covered this on one of the other podcasts.
It happens. Any first meeting that I sit in with you, even any workshops we do, it's one of the first questions people ask. And, transparency is such a huge thing in this industry, and being honest with people. And that's why you're a true fiduciary, Adam.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that. So the answer to that question is we charge a fee for our services, and the fee ranges anywhere from 0.25% or 0.25, and it can go all the way up to 1.5%. And it depends on the situation, right? It depends on what we're doing for them. But as I said, most of our families that we work with are used to us taking care of their taxes every year with our CPAs, taking care of their estate plan with our attorneys, their Medicare planning. Medicare planning is huge right now just because of the fact that when you hit that magical required minimum distribution age, you're going to end up adding more income to your income. And if it pushes you over a certain limit, now your Medicare Part B is much more. So all of those different planning tools, those are all things that we do. And obviously, we're more than happy to answer any questions that you have about any of those topics or any of the topics that we talked about today. And of course, we always get emails from our families that are currently working with us that love our podcasts.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about women in this podcast, and I had a funny little thing I saw the other day, and it's a little picture of a crocodile farm, and there's a bunch of people on this boat.
Okay.
And when a group of tourists visited a crocodile farm, the owner of the place launched a daring proposal. He said, "Whoever dares to jump, swim to shore, and survive, I will give you $1 million. Nobody dared to move, but suddenly a man jumped into the water and desperately swam towards the shore while he was being chased by all these crocodiles.
Oh, God.
With great luck, he arrived, taking in the admiration of everyone. The owner announced, 'We have a brave winner.' When the man got back to the hotel, the concierge and all these people were around him. They're like, 'Wow, you were so brave to jump.' And the guy said, 'I didn't jump. I was pushed.'" His wife smiled.
Oh, that's where I was going with next. So the wife pushed him.
Well, there's always a woman pushing behind every successful man.
You know what? I have to agree 100% with that. Obviously, I think about my wife and, marriage, they say all the time, marriage is it's hard work. It really is. But I do have to thank my wife for pushing me, and I got to thank, well, Kurt's not really a woman, but Kurt pushed me too, right? But everybody was pushing me to do all this stuff, right?
That's why you thanked Sue earlier, because Kurt
came from Sue. Yeah, exactly. Sue pushed Kurt.
Look at that.
Kurt's going to hate that. He's going to hate that we just said that. Anyway, folks, that's our show for today. Email us, reach out to us if you need. Remember, taxfreefortmyers.com. We're here for you. We're here to help. And we're here to have some fun, if you couldn't tell. So until we see you again, God bless everyone. Say bye, Lauren.
Oh, bye.
Investment advisory services are offered through Evolution Wealth Management Incorporated, an investment advisor registered with the state of Florida. Registration does not imply any level of skill or training. Evolution Wealth Management's unique CRD number is 307644. You can obtain a copy of Evolution Wealth Management's firm brochure, Form ADV Part 2A, free of charge by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov. Evolution Wealth Management offers investment advisory services only, where it is appropriately registered or exempt from registration, and only after clients have entered into an investment advisory agreement confirming the terms of engagement and have been provided a copy of the firm's ADV Part 2A. Insurance services are provided by Evolution Retirement Services. Any guarantees mentioned are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and may be subject to restrictions, limitations, or early withdrawal fees, which vary by the issuer. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. You should consider the charges, risks, expense, and investment objectives carefully before entering a contract. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only and should not be construed as a solicitation to affect or attempt to affect either transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. This material is not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, accounting, or other financial advice. Evolution Wealth Management and Evolution Retirement Services do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. Evolution Wealth Management and Evolution Retirement Services are affiliated entities.